Okay, we will call this agenda and priorities meeting to order October the 6th at 3 p.m. and I'll please ask Councillor Bates to read the land acknowledgement.
The town of Innisfail acknowledges that we are meeting on Treaty 7 territory, the ancestral and traditional territory of the Blackfoot Confederacy, Kainai, Piikani, Siksika, as well as Tsuut'ina First Nation and Stoney Nakoda First Nation. We acknowledge that this territory is home to the Métis Nation of Alberta, Region 3, within the historical Northwest Métis homeland. We acknowledge the many First Nations, Métis and Inuit who have lived in and cared for these lands for generations. We are grateful for the traditional knowledge keepers and elders who are still with us today and those who have gone before us. We make this acknowledgement as an act of reconciliation and gratitude to those whose territory we reside on.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Bates. Moving into 2.1, are there any additions or deletions to the agenda? No? Could I please have someone make a motion to adopt the agenda as presented? Councillor Dunham.
Mayor Barclay will make that motion.
Thank you. All in favor? Okay, carried. Okay, we'll move into 3.1 with Director Jenkins and Innisfail building permit stats.
Thank you, Mayor Barclay. So just the update on building permit stats to the end of September. Overall, you can see we're beyond our overall total permit value that we were in 2024. However, 11.4 million of that can be accounted to the aquatic centers. So we are seeing there's been 6 single-family dwellings constructed thus far this year. We do anticipate seeing a few more through the tail end of the year. Again, we've had 2 new fourplexes built in 2025 as well, which is positive. Down a bit in the garages and renovations. We still see very strong demand for solar, rooftop solar. So I think of those 25, about 14 are for rooftop solar installations. So overall, we'll probably end up a little bit down from 2024. 2024 was pretty strong for us, but we hope with the Napoleon South lots coming on that we'll see the opportunity for those residential numbers to increase through the tail end of this year into 2026.
Okay. Thank you, Director Jenkins. Are there any questions? No? Okay, well, I guess it's hard to have too many building permits when there's no land to build on. Okay, we'll just have a motion, please, to accept this report as information. Councillor Messaros.
Thank you. I'll make that motion, Mayor Barclay.
Okay, thank you. All in favor? Okay, carried. And we'll move into the asset management communication plan with Director Kennedy.
Thanks, Mayor Barclay. So in working with Kevin, our communications group, we've developed here just a draft of a communication plan. Through this plan, we seek to educate the public on the financial challenges facing the town in relation to funding for the infrastructure maintenance and replacement. To achieve the goals of this plan, we'll frame asset management in an easy understood context by highlighting comparisons to maintenance required by the average homeowner or family. Some of the key messages that we've come up with. Objective 1, identify town-owned assets. 2, maintenance of consistent grade on infrastructure. What is depreciation of our assets, as well as how this affects you as a resident for the town. Key audience, these are homeowners as well as business owners throughout town. And then in regards to activities, so develop branding, develop a clear, concise message that will help owners identify the necessity of investment in the infrastructure. The web page, specific page identifying the detailed management, the state of infrastructure report supplied by Tagish. Advertise, reinforce messaging regarding the need for investment in the infrastructure, as well as driving traffic to the website. Public engagement, have an opportunity or operations on hand to engage the public at the trade show. And then communications correlate with the trade show as well in regards to signage and just other information needed. Proposed artwork. So Ken has come up with a what's your town worth, just as a proposed start. So that's what we have to start with for a communication plan. I was just looking for some feedback from.
Okay, thanks, Director Kennedy. Does anybody have any questions or any ideas for Director Kennedy? No? Oh, Councillor Heistad.
I thank Director Kennedy and staff getting this moving forward. I know that we discussed it briefly at our last meeting. I think it was the last A&P, if I recall, or was it a regular meeting, council meeting? So yeah, no, there's a lot of detail put into this already, and I think it's really important for the new council to have this and to educate the public. So appreciate it. That's it. Thanks, Mayor Barclay.
Thank you, Councillor Dunham.
Thank you, Mayor Barclay. Also want to say thanks that you got this back to us so quickly, and I actually really like the tagline, and I like that you're going to be crossing all touch points between the web, social media, and that, and really getting the messaging out there, you know, rather than just kind of doing it, you know, just a little peppering it there. You're actually going full in on it. I think that'll be really good for our citizens to know and to understand, and I really think that a lot of people, and it's become ever so much more apparent in the last couple of weeks how, I hate to say this, little our citizenry actually understands what happens in this town, and that this kind of information will help educate them if they're willing to listen, and that will hopefully carry the next council and what town admin does in the coming years. I think it's important that we know this, and so thank you all very much for it.
Councillor Bates.
Yeah, the only thing I could think of is somehow we need to drive the message that this entire country, I believe, is in deficit with its assets management and keeping it up, and that the very fact that we're doing this is so progressive and ahead of so many of the other jurisdictions. I believe we should make that part of the messaging, and people will see it. I mean, I can't think of a highway or a province that doesn't have major issues, especially in the big cities, with deterioration of their assets. Thank you.
Right, thank you. Is there any plan on doing anything prior to budget 2025 as far as public engagement, such as an open house or?
Do you want to go with that one, or?
Mayor Barclay,
in your spare time.
We hadn't booked any public engagements. We did talk briefly at the spring registration night and the fall registration night. We touched on it, but we did focus on the election in a lot of our public engagements this summer. So
For sure, I know lots of things on your plate right now. Just might be an idea for the next people to consider that are sitting here about doing something prior to budget, so people have an understanding going into that. And oh, you want to pick this? Well, then we have to take away from this, and you know, just like has happened here every year. Okay, all right, well, thanks, Director Kennedy, looks great, and to Ken as well. So we'll just have a motion, please, to accept this report as information. Councillor Wing.
Thank you, Mayor Barclay. I'll move that council accept the report as information.
Okay, all in favor? Okay, carried, thank you. All right, and we'll move into 3.3 with Director Jenkins and the Rotary Bike Park project.
Okay, so we just wanted to provide council some information back following the Rotary's presentation a couple of weeks ago to council regarding the proposed construction of the bike pump track and flow line course at Centennial Park. At this time, the Rotary Club has stated that they're not requesting capital construction funding for the project. However, they will require support from the town for ongoing maintenance and then potential future replacement of the infrastructure. So looking today to provide council with a bit more detail on those operational costs and responsibilities, as well as some potential external funding opportunities that the Rotary Club could look into. Formal approval of the project will be presented later in the fall after the election. At that time, we'll be recommending, sort of as a first step, is that council provide support in the form of owner permission essentially to apply for a development permit. So then through that development permit process, we'll be collecting the detailed information, site plans, engineering, support documents that go along with the project, while also providing the club with that sort of proof of support from the town that would allow them to look into some of those funding opportunities. So I'll let Director Kennedy talk a little bit about the maintenance program, and then we'll go from there.
Sure. So what we did is we had a kind of high-level look at what potential maintenance requirements would be looked at on a yearly basis. So looking at it on a weekly basis, based on the maintenance manual or document that they provided us. Looked at weekly sweeping, blowing of the track, mowing, as well as garbage collection. Bi-weekly, we're looking at weed whipping, kind of that drainage monitoring. Annually, we are anticipating having to install 2 porta potties to the site. Estimated annual cost based on just hourly, just staffing is in that 10.5 range. With, as per their document, you know, that estimated value of about 20 years, 15, 20 years for full replacement. This was basically made, we looked at this maintenance based on just using the pump track. We will reevaluate if it, when it comes to the full development of it. Maintenance costs obviously would go up because it would be a lot more work, a lot more mowing, a lot more weed whacking to the site. We looked at it mostly just as the pump track itself for maintenance. So we will come back to council with a little more detail in regards to the maintenance as we gather more information from the Rotary Club.
So as they presented, the total overall project cost is estimated to be just over $1 million for both the pump track and the flow line track. This does not include sort of landscaping or site furniture that would go along with that. So as that site plan is developed, we'll be able to provide estimates of what that would look like. Benches and garbage cans and things are sometimes things that are easy to get donations and those types of contributions for. Based on conversation with the tax assessor, the approximately 3.5 acre site's estimated to have a value of approximately $175,000. So that was some information that the club was looking for in terms of contributions. And then I just did a quick sort of collection of potential grants that either just closed or are coming up. They sort of tend to circulate. I don't want to predict too far in the future that they're going to reopen, but a lot of them are annual grants. You can see that as a nonprofit or charity organization, there's a lot more options in terms of funding through that sort of recreation, active living, those types of programs. So we can certainly work with the Rotary Club to connect them and highlight some of those opportunities. Yeah, so if there's any other questions from council moving forward, otherwise I will be coming back sort of budget or later in the year.
Okay, thank you, Director Jenkins. Does anybody have any questions? Councillor Heistad.
Thanks, Mayor Barclay, to Director Kennedy, and to Director Jenkins. I think the project's an excellent project. The only concern that I have, and I've said it over again, is just that the area itself is just knowing what, if it's going to be, we're able to use that site because it was an old dump. And so, you know, do we have any idea? I've asked that a couple times as to, you know, that proximity of it, and we already use it for disc golf and you know, other uses, but because I was over at that site, I think the site is going to be really good. personally. It's just the concern of digging up and making changes that way that may interfere with that, the ability for the club to do that, so.
To Councillor Heistad, so we have presented a past hour geotech that is doing our monitoring of the site. At this time, based on the information provided, they had no concerns. It is just outside of the actual landfill site, is where this is proposed. Obviously, once we get development permit, we'll be requiring a little more information from the consultant in regards to, what are they using for sub-drains, what are they actually digging? So at this time, we'll gather that information further. But prelim-wise, no concerns in regards to our geotech.
No, I appreciate that, thanks.
Just from a sort of statutory perspective, there are setbacks from landfills that they don't affect recreational uses, though. There's residential, sort of food preparation, those types of uses. There are minimum setbacks from even abandoned landfill sites, but recreation uses don't fall under that.
Okay, anybody else have any questions? Councillor Wing.
Thank you, Mayor Barclay. And through to probably Director Jenkins. The service level impact that you've outlined here, is that then similar to the service level impact that the disc golf course has? Have we ever sort of spelled out exactly what that service level looks like?
To Councillor Wing, we haven't tracked the hours specifically. We see this as being actually a higher service level impact. The disc golf we've maintained really just the bi-weekly whipping if it's required, depending on traffic. We don't provide the annual porta potties and that type of stuff, so this has definitely got a higher impact than what the disc golf would. We did do a comparison in regards to our skate park. This is relatively in that comparison to the skate park when it comes to what we're providing for services there.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, anybody else? If not, I just have a motion, please, to accept this report as information. Councillor Bates.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you. All in favor? Okay, carried. So we'll move into 4.1 and correspondence. Director Jenkins, do we give something annually to the Christmas Bureau? Can you remind me, please?
We don't make a formal
Okay.
financial contribution, no.
So, okay, thank you. All right, so when somebody's ready, we'll just have a motion, please, to accept the correspondence as information. Councillor Dunham.
Mayor Barclay, I'll make that motion.
Okay, thank you. All in favor? Carried. Okay, and roundtable discussion, we'll begin with Councillor Dunham.
Thanks, Mayor Barclay. I will be submitting my final report of the term this Thursday and have only the forum tomorrow night that I'll be attending this week.
Great, thank you. And Councillor Wing.
Thank you, Mayor Barclay. Yeah, I guess I'll be submitting a report this week as well to round up this term. I just wanted to clarify with CEO Becker. I had actually requested information on the business licenses that have been sent out or approved in the last period of time. So I wonder if we have that information.
We do, Councillor Wing. My apologies, it was part of the previous report. We failed to complete our report.
Mayor Barclay, through to Councillor Wing. So I do have the last 3 years of history for business licenses. So in 2025, our active licenses is currently sitting at 705. From that is 82 new businesses this year with only 12 canceled businesses. The numbers for 2024, we had 635 active businesses. We had 121 new businesses throughout the year, but we did have 162 businesses that canceled last year. This does include those one-day licenses that come in and are canceled. So that might mean we had a higher active summer or things like that. And in 2023, our active licenses were 676. with 117 new businesses and only 55 canceled. Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you. Sorry that I did not include it in Megan's report.
Okay. Next, we have Councillor Bates on the list.
So I too will be submitting a report next week, and it will be my last report. And I'll be solidifying my selection for my voting tomorrow night. And I do have one more Mountain View Water Commission meeting this Wednesday that I'll attend.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Messaros.
Thank you, Mayor Barclay. Basically the same thing. I'll be submitting my final report later this week and going to the forum tomorrow night, and one final chamber meeting next week.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Heistad.
Thanks, Mayor Barclay. I'll be submitting my report. Better show up to the event tomorrow night. And Innisfail Healthcare Center fundraiser was really well attended on Saturday night. I know Councillor Wing and I sit on that committee together, and it looks that we've raised around $24,000 for a new bed. So it was a good night. Thanks.
All right, thanks. So many thanks to Director Leith and his crew for the pancake breakfast on Sunday morning and the demonstrations that they put on. Certainly eye-opening and educational. Also attended the fundraiser at the Healthcare Centre Saturday night, the Oktoberfest. It was a great event, and we'll be submitting a report on Thursday for next week's regular council meeting. So we will move on to 6.1, upcoming events. When somebody's ready, I'll just have a motion to accept these as information, please. Councillor Messaros.
Sure, I'll do that, Mayor Barclay.
Thank you. All in favor? Okay, thank you. And we'll have a motion to go in camera. Councillor Dunham.
Mayor Barclay will make that motion, we move in camera.
Thank you. All in favor? Thanks.